prepare and make some good profits this week. Market left us big clues here. Let's talk about that in today's video. Very important liquidity that you need to know right here, here, and here. We're looking for big moves this week. Let's talk about that in today's video. I will also share with you the expected moves for SPY this week, how to plan your trades ahead. If you're not a day trader, but you're trading weekly, it's important you know the expected ranges and understanding the liquidity in the area more than just the ranges here. Now, quick recap since my last video. Thank you for your patience. I haven't been very well, but nothing's changed since the video on Monday. Now, that's how long ago? About a week ago, where I talked about the retest of the 5-day moving average together with this green algorithm. Just take a look exactly as it is, and we built that beautiful head and shoulder pattern, inverse head and shoulder pattern in that orange buying continuation structure as well. So nothing's changed. I also talked about this orange buying continuation structure right here on 2nd October. Nothing's changed. When you understand the buying continuation structure here, this becomes very straightforward. Identifying this orange algorithm is absolutely important. You see that happening right there. Now, this was on 2nd October at 9:19 a.m. before market opens. Now, understanding this, it's important. You need to know by identifying the algorithms how to be looking at such continuation structure like that. Absolutely beautiful. Now let's talk a little bit about Friday, because it's important. You need to understand this key liquidity right here in that magenta algorithm. Now on Friday at 9:52 a.m. Now 9:52 we were still absolutely early, but very importantly we identified this very key magenta algorithm here. Now understanding this magenta is very important, and you see how once we started closing and breaking out from the initial magenta, you wait for the subsequent magenta to start building, and together with the blue you're able to deduce from that dual algorithms right there. Just take a look. It's beautiful. Magenta in control even in the right shoulder, giving us an absolutely beautiful trade. Now, near the top, it's important. I talked about this. I warned you about the tapering at the top with the magenta, and you see it for yourself. So once you're able to identify this magenta algorithm, it's very important. From there, you're able to see this very beautiful setup right there. Now, this particular trade here, 5 figures for me, all because you understood how to be looking out for the magenta algorithm. Now, when you're day trading, you don't have to worry about whether it's going up or going down. Stay focused on finding profits in the charts, because thereafter we took a bounce trade right here, and this particular trade here also another 5-figure trade for me right there. Now, you have to learn how to identify such opportunities right there. And I will provide a snippet later of an explanation from a training video that I provide for members in the Discord server. So please do watch it as well, so you have a little understanding how to be looking out for trades and have a little understanding of what we do in the Discord server every single day. And thereafter you see the magenta starting to form here, isn't it? And I told you not to chase here. You have to be very careful because you already started pushing down in the strongest algorithm. So remember, as I always tell you, you can chase here on the break. On the break from the blue to green, you notice the selling from blue to green is stronger, so you can chase here and catch it up to this. This is a scope here that you want to catch, but otherwise you cannot start chasing once it's in green, because it will slow down. And you see the engulfing candle, the green candle here engulfing. So once you see the selling intensity starting to increase, especially when we are at the supports of the strongest selling algorithm that we have identified here, you see it bounce back up. Now we identified magenta, so we're expecting more liquidity to start forming, and I was telling you to wait for more liquidity, isn't it? And you see it happening near end of day, right? So you just have to be patient, right? So instead of chasing the shorts here, you have to temper your expectations, because some of you you missed out on this and therefore you want to chase this. You have to be very careful, and I keep reminding you, be careful not to chase. So understand the technical explanations of why you don't chase here, because we are already in the strongest selling You don't see it going further down, and we are already at the supports of that strongest selling rhythm. And we have, well, the Q's 5-day was here. I talked about that, and we have closed the gap. So these are very strong support levels, and we have somewhat retested a very key level in this pink 668 that I've indicated near to the 5-day moving average as well. Right, so you see so many key support levels, so you can expect some buyers to be here. We had magenta, and we were weakening in our selling in the blue, and I took a call here at that large red candle. It was a pretty good fill, but on hindsight, I could have taken it at a bounce of magenta or on the break of this blue. That would still be better. Instead, I had some drawdown here, but it turned out to be a pretty good trade. And if you remember from episodes 1, 2, or 3, I don't remember, it's the early episodes, I talked about chaining your plays. But the reason I am so much more daring in taking this trade here is because I had a massive trade from here. So you see, you're chaining up your plays. So the bigger days that I have is only because I have, big wins prior that I'm able to take bigger risks, especially in the elevated volume environment. I know there will be moves, so I'm willing to take them. And so you see, this is the reason why I have 2 very good trades right there. Now, you cannot call a reversal. This is a zombie, right? I was expecting a bounce, because this bounce can be that head for that head and shoulder, which you see it happening, or it can be the head of that inverse head and shoulder pattern. But you can absolutely wait for the bulls to retest this before you consider this going up. So you have to understand the concept of the zombie trade here, especially when we ran out of momentum and that selling continuation. You saw strong supports, right? And you see it's penny perfect, so you can time your risks. You can truly fine tune your risks so that you maximize your risk to rewards. I told you to protect by magenta, isn't it? Exactly as it is, right? So you notice that magenta can still be in control, and it absolutely still is right there, right? So I told you to protect by magenta as well, right here, I think. With magenta in the way, so protect more. Yeah, watch for magenta. So you have to understand trader structure demands, right? You have a target to protect your trade. You understand you have the buying continuation. Now, the reason only I could hold my trade all the way to magenta was only because of this blue buying precision algorithm. So sometimes the market is kind, give us very clear directions in order to protect the trade, so I could maximize my move here. Absolutely beautiful trade, and it's about learning this skill, this lifetime skill, so you can do this for the rest of your life by learning to find 5-figure profit trades. And I've shown you it's very possible to do it, but it's a long-term skill you need to learn. So don't rush this, and most importantly, please do not join if you're looking for signals. Signals will ruin you. You need to learn this skill for a lifetime, so you can do this every single day for the rest of your life. And we're talking about $10,000 a day, not a month, mind you, every single day. This skill is worth every ounce of your energy and determination to learn and master. It's not going to be easy, why should it? But it is possible. Stay focused. Run this race strong. It will be life-changing, not just financially, but you will see how trading will make you a better person. Stay focused. We got this. Now, where do we go from here? That's important. You understand where we at. From the last video, we talked about the 5-day retest here. Very important. And then we see this orange buying continuation structure here. Now, most importantly, you need to understand where the liquidity levels are. Now, please watch this video from last Sunday. That's about 2 weeks ago, about 10 days ago. Now, this is a very important video because I talked about how this macro structure is playing out, as well as understanding from the daily chart how to be looking out for trend indicators. And you see it for yourself if you watch that video, how the bounce off that 5-day moving average together with the upper Bollinger, and you see it happening together with the 20-day moving average trending up as well. So please watch that video. It's very important. Watch it after this one, so you have a little understanding of what we're talking about and see for yourself how things shape up as we prepare for them. And so when you chain up plays over the several videos that you watch on a daily basis, you are able to have better understanding how the chart moves over time. Now, remember, I also mentioned in that video that if you see any dump, it has to come from the blue algorithm. So this is very important, and I want you to pay close attention to that. And one very important algorithm here, together with the 20-day moving average, you see it trending up like that. Now, you need to wait for the 20-day moving average here, together with the blue algorithm here, if this truly wants to dump. If this wants to dump, this will be a very ideal, very ideal liquidity level if they want to plan for this, for a pullback. So look out for that. That's very important. And there are several layers to that as well. The first one will be with a 5-day moving average. If it starts to plateau slightly, that's what you need to be looking out for. If the market wants to grab more liquidity, this will be ideal. But otherwise, you see that magenta is still building liquidity here. Look out for the magenta and the green. If the market wants to build more liquidity on the way up, this will be great if we do retest again in between the 5 and the 20-day moving average, and we grab the 5 again off that magenta algorithm. That will be ideal. 5-day moving average together with the magenta algorithm and building that structure right there. Otherwise, look out for that green algorithm here, and you see we build liquidity here, and here on the way up. So look out for that. That will be ideal. Otherwise, wait for cups to close. You will see the cups closing, and when that happens, look out for microstructure. You've seen that happening as well on that microstructure 1-minute chart before we start breaking out. By then, 5-day continue trending up. Your upper Bollinger continue trending up, giving you more room for way up here. Now, for this week, the expected move for SPY will be at, well, around the high of 673, as well as on the lower end of 665, about that. Of course, this is just indicative. You have to learn to use the algorithms to help you gauge as well. So understanding your ranges here and your other range here together with the yellow algorithm and the 20-day moving average, you see how beautiful that can be as well. And understanding the cup close for the green algorithm here, as well as the magenta right here. So when you are able to identify the liquidity wedges and the expected ranges, you can plan your weekly spreads or how to write your options much better. Now, I will be running through more in detail of such trades in future, so look forward to that as well. I also will be talking more on other tickers as well in future, maybe gold, maybe Nvidia, maybe even Bitcoin, but using the ETF IBIT. So let me know what other tickers you want me to talk about in future. I will be looking into breaking them down, analyzing them with the intention of what I was talking about in the 30-minute chart, laying down the liquidity levels, understanding the technical analysis so that you can plan your spreads and writing options. That's the objective behind touching on the other tickers. But otherwise, if you're day trading, try to stick to SPY, SPX, ES, the futures. They are more reliable. It's much easier for you to find some sort of stability to manage your risks. We can trade other ways on top of day trading with the other tickers, as I mentioned, and I will explore that. Looking forward to do that as I prepare for the last quarter of the year as well as the brand new year. So thank you very much for watching. Leave in the comments what would you like to see, and I'll see you closer to opening bell.